So we are running this site to help the Department of State to smoothly and efficiently get American citizens and anyone who the Department of State declares they want to evacuate. So we're here to get them out of whatever situation is in that foreign country and to get them home and help expedite that process.
So we're the force that was picked to be the security force for the consulate reinforcement, which is now transitioned to a non-combatant evacuation based on the deteriorating situation here on the ground. What you guys just came through was the entry control point that we've established to really keep the protesters and riots at distance from the consulate and allow us some space and time in between the rioters and protesters and processing the American citizens for evacuation. So the measures we put in place try to use the host nation force the most we can to control their localized crowds, spread the message of what's happening here, and then minimize our exposure outside the consulate. Sir, able to keep the American citizens, the Marines, safe inside the compound, but behind the exterior border. What we did initially was come in and initially reinforce this consulate, right? So the message was spread, hey, deteriorating situation here in the country, some rebel groups, some violent extremist organizations, really having some conflicts with the locals. So deteriorating situation here at the compound, made for the call for the BLT of 26MU to come in, and that really comes down to how ready is the force and how relevant are we in today's world with some of the things that are continuing to deteriorate in a real world mission that could be happening around the world at any time. So coming in, getting the rep here, working with the role players, having a very realistic exercise of working with the host nation guard force, working against the host nation locals, the protests, and then a great opportunity to work with the Department of State. What's that relationship like? Because ultimately we're here to support their mission, right? We're not here for a Department of Defense mission initially. We come in to support the Department of State mission and to really protect those workers that are here and the American citizens that are inside the country. And that's why this security force would come.
Tomorrow I'm going to fly a Department of State authorized mission, right? Where I'm moving non-combatants, people who have never been on an aircraft potentially, right? People who have all their belongings in 2 suitcases and maybe a little backpack on their back. And it's our whole goal there is going to be, we're going to message, we're here to support and here to help.
A lot of NEOs, especially ones that can go on for multiple weeks, they will be generally more slow, more controlled. So we're, in some situations you're not immediately rushing people onto the bird. Oftentimes it would be much more slow and controlled. This is not meant to be a very quick snatch and grab. This is meant to help with a more organized drawdown to get people out.
And then ultimately, as we get back aboard shipping or back in the rear at 1st Battalion 6 Marines, we'll get the small unit leaders together, we'll get all the Marines that participated, say, hey, from your individual area, how do you think this thing went? Where did it go well? Where did it fail? And where do we need to improve next time? Like I said, we can give high fives on a couple things, but we'll really focus on where do we need to improve and what can we do better next time for when this is a real mission. We know we're ready and can execute. The big point of that is that MUs in the future can look up, hey, whether it's an embassy reinforcement, consulate reinforcement, AAR, boom, they should learn from us, all right? If the next MU comes to this compound and makes the same mistakes, then we failed them, just as we failed ourselves, so we didn't do that critique.